Gary Woodland, the clubhouse leader, when the second round was suspended. He's at 10 under par. He is 2 shots better than Brooks Koepka at -8. Dustin Johnson among those at -7. Tiger Woods on the course again this morning. He is through 11 holes. He is 4 under par, 6 shots off the pace. At the ticket update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson for more 9701theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glantz.
Morning, everybody. How you doing today, Harvey?
Fantastic. What a great day out there, Harry. Of course,
Beautiful.
August 11, 2018. We bring in Lisa Lawson from the office. Lisa, good morning.
Lisa Awesome Lawson.
Yeah, I love that one for
She's
sure.
the best.
Lisa brings in the most awesome Doug Andrews from Keller Williams Lakeside. Doug, managing broker out there. How you doing?
Very good. Good morning, guys.
Good morning to have you. Great to have you, Doug. I mean, we spoke last night. You and I already had our own show going on last night. I said, Doug, I got to get you off the line. It's like 10 o'clock. And I said, enough already. We'll talk in the morning. But great stuff. Tons of information to share with you. 248-539-9797. We want to take all your calls.
So, Harvey, Doug's a pro. He's been around a long time. See him at all the mortgage banker events. He's around. He knows what he's doing. You know, when you have a guy or when you hear, somebody like Doug Andrews is on the other end of a transaction or involved in a transaction, you're just happy because you know everything's going to go smoothly and you know you're not going to get 79 phone calls during the transaction. It goes like this with Doug. So, how's it look? Oh, it looks good, Doug. Don't worry. We'll see you at closing. It goes, great. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Right? Doug,
Doug,
isn't that how it works?
That's most of the time how it works. But we do have our bumps in the road that we have to get through, and those are all part of being in the business for a long time.
I agree
Just
with
know how
you.
to navigate it.
I sort of mentioned Doug last night, and I wrote it down. If you bought a house in Macomb County in the last couple of years, it's probably pretty true that you might have touched Keller Williams out there at Lakeside.
Pretty much. We right now we're controlling for about 17 months in a row. We're the #1 real estate company in all.
Not like you're
County.
counting or anything.
Nope. Every number. You got to know your numbers.
That's
Numbers
right.
never lie.
What is it, 17 months in a row you guys have been the #1 producing?
For residential sales.
Oh, fantastic. Well, a lot of action out there. We've always said we have as much business here and over the years in Macomb County that we do in any of the counties. Of course, we're located, we smack dab right in the middle of South. And we did that geography thing when we moved our office and we said, wait a minute here. We truly need to be in South because we literally have as many clients, and that just smacked us dab right in the middle. But a lot of great things happening out there. Of course,
Very good.
The development is nonstop. We are seeing more and more new construction. Mm-hmm. It's not enough probably to keep up with the gap we've had.
Right.
But you are seeing quite a bit of it out there. And what else do you see in trends out there, and of course, all across Southeast Michigan?
Well, we keep our, I call it the pulse, and we keep our finger on the pulse all the time because we need to know what's trending. What are we going to market the best? Where are we getting our most calls from? What are the inquiries coming from? And more importantly now, with our systems, we're able to track what I call showing lights. People are saying, hey, we're not getting as many showings on our listings, but they are getting a lot of showing lights. If they're marketing them the right way, have the right photos, people are shopping way more on the internet. 95% of the time they're on the internet shopping before they ever get out and look at a house. So
at the end of the day, with all that internet stuff, we talked about the technology, good and bad.
Good and bad.
So we've seen it on both sides of the transaction. Even that one company that starts with a Z out there is talking about they're going to get into your business, maybe do away with you guys, and then they're talking about doing away with us. This type of technology things at the end of the day, it doesn't always work that easy. I even had a call, and I told you of a situation even yesterday. The real estate agent calls me up very early in the morning. Hey, we're ready to go, Harvey. I have a client. She wants to go look at this condominium. Well, sure enough, she didn't even qualify. There's no pre-approval. There's no money to close. How does a computer distinguish that? I mean, if she would probably punch in her information, they might just send her an approval letter or a pre-qualification letter of some sort.
Harvey, you and I talked a little bit about the high tech. It's made me much more efficient. I can cover a greater range of properties in a bigger area. But what it's also hurt is the high touch. And people need that personal interaction more than ever today because if people say, hey, what do you do every day? I say, I'm an interpreter. Because I have to interpret all this information they're getting off the internet, what's right, what's wrong, and what's right for them.
I think it's a wonderful place to start to gather information. I think it's a terrible place to try to execute it.
Exactly.
I think, honestly, you need to talk to people. When you're talking about people's Social Security numbers or W-2s or tax returns, there are a lot of formulas, and, it's analogous to baseball. The sabermetrics in baseball will tell you a lot of things, but they can't tell you. What they can't tell you is really the heart and how good somebody is really going to be in clutch situations. So analogous to the mortgage industry, in a clutch situation like getting approved for a mortgage, when you put in an offer and it comes down to executing it and really closing it, okay, there's a lot more than just plugging all the information in. Okay, so I caution people. I say, go gather information, then give us a call. I've got no problem going over with it, but you really need to talk to somebody personally. Yeah, you could do everything by text, via email, via the phone. So that's not a problem, but you really should have a relationship and establish some sort of good feeling, trust factor when you're dealing with something of the magnitude of the largest purchase of your life.
Absolutely. And what happens with my position right now, I've got about 360 people that are out there writing about 300 transactions, a couple hundred listings a month. And when people come into my office, it's usually because they've got something that's a mess. And the mess is usually tracked down to communication. Either too much, the wrong information, or not enough.
Too much communication. I think I've done that before. Definitely.
So, you might have been involved in a couple scenarios like that in your career.
Actually, it's funny. Doug said it to me last night. He goes, Harvey, you never know. We might have had an issue or something. Sort of
and Doug, you bring up a great point. Too much communication can be as big of a problem as not enough communication.
Right.
You don't need to. I mean, there's certain things that just don't need to be communicated because you put people in a panic situation. Right. Handle it in-house like you guys do, like we do. Handle the issues in-house. You don't air your dirty laundry outside the family.
Right. So
you take care of what you take care of, and you make sure everything's taken care of smoothly. And when you're dealing with people that have been around a long time, you just know what's going to get done.
Well, if you come in my office right now, my number one plaque that's right above my head every day is, I believe there's always a way. So people come in with situations, what are we going to do? We got to, settle down. Let's figure out our options. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. What's our option? Let's get it resolved and let's get it closed.
Well, it's funny you say that because realtors and mortgage bankers in general are very highly emotional. They're transactionally oriented. If they care about their clients, they're going to advocate very strongly for their client's position. And they want everything done right now. Okay, everything's got to be done right now, and I'm highly emotional. I got to close this transaction. We have to close on the 7th.
Patience. Patience is what prevails.
Right. Yeah. But we see that. You and I see that every day in our office. And like you said, we're usually the last people that get involved in the transaction, usually when it's at DEFCON 5.
When their hair is on fire.
That's right.
Well, we've seen a lot of different things in real estate over the years. One of the great things, of course, has been the bubble not the bubble, but the explosion of real estate, of what's going on out there. It's just been gangbusters truly for the last 7 years.
Exactly.
If you've been fortunate enough to take advantage of home ownership, you probably got a lot of equity built in your house. If you haven't yet, one of the things that we always talk about, and Doug and I mentioned it to each other last night, isn't it fun to own a house? And it should be fun and exciting. You're spending a lot of money. The average price of a home is upwards to $275,000 throughout the nation. Back in 2000, the average price of a home was down at about $148,000. I wrote the number exactly down. So just a tremendous amount of equity families have had. A lot of you had to get through the tougher times in the last 18 years, of course, through the recession and stuff. So a lot of great things happening. We want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. We're going to take all your calls this morning. And we always talk about what's important in a real estate transaction. Is it the education of the buyers that gives them that confidence to sort of move forward? What really stands out to you, Doug? In 2018, we're going into this end of the summer season. It's been a great year, really, like I said, 7 or 8 years here. But we're at the end of this interesting year where rates did peak up to a little bit higher than they have been over the last few years. And the inventory jam has caused everyone lots of problems. Where do you see this next couple months going?
Well, I think that we're going to see, because of the hiring in Detroit, because of the ripple effect that's going on, and I don't care if it's Chrysler Corporation or the hospitals, everywhere people are hiring. We've never had such low unemployment rates, and try and find somebody right now to come and work. The trades, my builders are all like, hey, I need tradesmen like crazy. So what we've got now is people's incomes are going up because they're giving a premium compensation, which means for you and I, they can more affordability. People are saying, hey, I've been renting now for 5 years because I went through a short sale.
Right.
Now I'm able to get back into the market. I want to stop renting. I want to have the American dream. I want to have my own piece of the rock again. And so we're seeing more and more of that happen, which is why in the under 250, that 150 to 250 range, you're going to have at least 8 offers you're going to compete with all the time.
All right. I'll tell you what, we got a lot to share with you. Doug's got tons of information. Call us a call here, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
97.1 Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glantz.
Morning, everybody. How you doing today, Harv?
Fantastic. Hey, Harry, what's going on? A gorgeous day outside, 88 and sunny, and we got lots of energy here in Southeast Michigan. We bring in, of course, Peter Zook from Capital Mortgage, and good morning to you, Pete.
Hello, how you doing?
There you are, Pete. Hey, Tony Holquin from Gap Realty. Tony, you're making your second appearance. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me back again.
So, Harvey, you got to love Tony, right? Earlier in the week, he emails us, everybody, if you're watching on Facebook Live, here it is. He emails us a bunch of stuff he wants to talk about. He comes in prepared.
Yeah, he's got to
He
go.
loves being on the show.
Yes,
He
I
did a
love
great
it.
job last time. So welcome back, my man.
Well, thank you very much. I
You got
appreciate
it.
it.
Tony, sometimes we, after 18 and a half years, we're going to our 19th year if they let us sign up again to do the show. I sometimes, I leave the show and I want to give as much information to listening audience. And this week, it was like at the beginning of the week, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing this. And then a customer came in and they sat down and we did it the old-fashioned way. And it reminded me of how the old-fashioned way still works today, and it works best for all clients. They really wanted to learn what they were doing, what they were signing, the process A to Z. And I know that's one of the things that, Tony, that you and I probably would hit best on is definitely working with the clients the old-fashioned way, sitting them down and teaching them how to buy a house and being successful.
That is the best way, in my opinion. You always need to sit down and do a needs and wants list. Explain to them the market. Explain to them what they're up against, what to expect, what not to expect. Be able to coach them through it. Talk to them about some different things regarding financing, different things regarding some of the other features and neighborhoods and stuff. What the neighborhoods have the offer that they're looking for, and just be a consultant to them.
Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call. We're loaded with a full staff all week long to get that approval letter at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's 1-800-569-7283. We always take your calls here. 248-539-9797. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. And again, we have Douglas Andrews in, who's the big shot over there at Keller Williams Lakeside. He handles all the transactions. It seems like that go through that office. And like you said, over 300 agents, just tons and tons of business out there. We're talking about some of the new construction that's going out there. Of course, if you're out there, you need to get approved first. The builders might be wanting you to deal with particular builders. I can promise you that if you come in with an approval from Capital Mortgage Funding, that builder's going to have a big smile on their face, knowing that you're going to close in a timely manner and they're going to get the job done for you. But not only that is these price ranges on the homes. We talked about it. The cost of land and the cost of the trades has really driven up the new construction. So they're generally starting, you said, about $350,000.
Correct, about $350,000. You can find them starting in the 320s, but by the time you finish it out, that's the entry level. It's like a car. You're going to end up spending $350,000 or more, just the way it is.
Right. If that's your lifestyle, if that's what you're looking for, fantastic. We talked about some of the younger people out there, maybe the first-time home buyers, the younger families. They're not necessarily looking for that, as maybe my generation was. You know, I had over the 3,000 square foot home and that whole thing going on. Now we're seeing this. They're more into the experiences and maybe having one or two kids and traveling the world.
What we're seeing more and more of, and particularly, I might pick on St. Clair Shores, waterfront. You can have your boat, marina, great schools, public golf course. And you can buy a nice home for $150,000 to $175,000. It's just perfect.
We have actually had, there's different cities across Southeast Michigan, always across the country, but really like St. Clair Shores, there's a couple different ones in our area that really stood out to be like hot areas. In Oakland County, we saw that there was going to be that Clawson was going to become something. And some of the people are thinking Hazel Park's your next little.
Well, look at Ferndale.
Yeah,
Ferndale's already proven it.
Oh, yeah.
It's proven it. So I think
Oak Park is next, too.
Yeah, if it's not there already. St. Clair Shores is the east side's version of like a Ferndale, where you really can get a lot for the money. Have that downtown experience. And, of course, in St. Clair Shores, you get a little bit different. You got something called Lake St. Clair out there, which is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, so, Doug, trending in your area in Macomb County, where do you see the trend going? As Harvey said, and we've talked about it many, many times, we're in the 7th year right now of a 5-year cycle. Usually they go in 5-year cycles. We're in the 7th year of a seller cycle. Trending going forward, we know the spring and summer have been hot. We know it's been hot because there's been a lack of quality inventory on the market. Where do you see that going in the fall and projected for us, from you, where it's going to go into the winter time and maybe even into 2019?
Well, it's not just our own numbers that we track. I'm also very involved with multi-list service. I track everybody's numbers, my competitors, myself, my individual agents, who's doing what where. And without a doubt, what we're seeing more and more of are people that now have equity again, Harvey mentioned it earlier, that are trading up. Okay, 6 years ago, they didn't have equity at all. Many times they were upside down. And so now they've got some good equity. Their jobs are doing well. They've probably got promotions. They got money in the bank. And so they're saying, hey, let's sell this 150 and let's move to the 250. 250 guys saying, hey, let's go from that 250. Let's get that new house we've always wanted. And they're going to spend 350 to 400 for it. So the stepping up is going on. Plus, we've got people that are my age that are doing the stepping down. I sold the 3,000 square foot house to move to 1,100 square feet. I didn't need the big house. I didn't need the big taxes. I didn't need the schools anymore, but I wanted the lifestyle. So I moved to an area where I have the waterfront. That's exactly what people are doing. It's the cycle of real estate life.
Yeah, we need more and more of the empty nesters, who want to do that to open up those other homes and put definitely some more inventory out there.
And that's the healthy cycle of real estate.
Right.
Okay, so that's the trend. Those are the kind of trends that you want to see. You want to see the first-time home buyer moving up to their step-up home.
Right.
And then when they get, established in their position, their families grow, they need the bigger house, so they're moving into the second or third home. And then you're seeing people, Doug, I'll be in your age. I am in your age group. People our age decide, well, you know what? Maybe we don't have that first floor master, and we're looking for a first floor master. We don't need all the size anymore. We don't want the upkeep, so we're looking for maybe lifestyle by the water, golf course, wherever what we're going to do when we decide that we're not going to work anymore, which is never.
Never.
And,
exactly.
Right. And that's where it's going. But that is the natural cycle of real estate, and that shows that it's a healthy market. It's a very, very healthy market.
And it's going to continue. Again, the prosperity that we're experiencing right now, and people that have been what I call trapped in renting for a long time, we're bringing them back into the fold of home ownership. Okay, rents 5 years ago, everybody was buying up rental property. Boom, 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 boom. And they were filling them up. And the rents went from $800 a month to
Skyrocket.
$1,000, $1,200, $1,400 a month. In 5 years, they've gone from $800 to $1,400 a month. At $1,400 a month, look what the mortgage payment would be.
Yeah, you could buy a
You
lot.
could buy a great house for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
why are you renting if you're? Why aren't you buying a house?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Still the tax deduction out there. 248-539-9797. Here, go do a little business here. Lisa, more on our side of things. Of course, so many great programs out there. And Doug mentioned the USDA loans, rural development loans.
Yep.
They are starting to make some traction here. Of course, there's great opportunities. As we talk about northern Macomb County, that whole region up there is available. So zero down programs for families who want to purchase homes. And that's what Doug's talking about. You first-time home buyers, you renters, you folks that whatever the situation is, maybe through divorce or death, whatever the situation might be, there's opportunities for you to become homeowners. And again, there's some income limits on these programs, but at least we've got
Correct.
USDA.
USDA.
We've zero down. We've got VA zero down, the
Yep.
3% down conventional programs. Freddie Mac came back with another zero down program. We're going to be talking about that new home program. They got a new
Yep.
nickname for it.
and most lenders don't want to deal with MSHDA loans, but we will.
But
and
I do
Lisa's a
MSHDA.
MSHDA specialist.
Yep.
Great point, Harry.
Yeah.
Our MSHDA is off the chart. Look, if you need some down payment assistance, if you're a buyer out there, if you're considering home ownership, give us a call. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Another benefit to MSHDA, too,
Yes.
is we don't have to ask for seller concessions. MSHDA's going to give up to $7,500 towards closing costs, prepaids, down payment, whatever it needs to be. So maybe you've only saved $3,000 or $4,000. You want to get a house in St. Clair Shores for $135,000.
You can make it work.
This is not the market where you can say, I need seller concessions.
Correct.
So MSHDA allows people to get into homes, not asking for concessions, not having to worry about, being short funds or getting a gift. It makes home ownership possible, and it's one of my favorite programs. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, some of the counties don't even have the income limits. Of course,
Correct.
MSHDA is referred to as Michigan State Housing Development Authority. It's a program through the state of Michigan. It's a quiet second mortgage. You don't pay it off until you sell the house or you refinance. You buy a house today, 4 or 5 years from now, you have enough equity. You might be able to do it right then and there. Plus, by doing a refinance in the future, you can get rid of the MIP, which is always a conversation everyone wants to talk about.
So people don't realize, too, MSHDA can go piggyback not just an FHA loan, but you can do a conventional 3% down and get MSHDA down payment assistance. And you can also do MSHDA without down payment assistance. It's a subsidized rate. It's extremely low. Right now it's 4% on a conventional loan. So if you've saved enough money and you don't need the down payment assistance, but say you're somebody who's, single guy making $45,000 a year, you meet the income requirement, you should be looking at doing the MSHDA program without down payment assistance. You're going to get a rate so much lower than
Absolutely.
anything that's available on the market. It's a great program. I think it's underutilized. People don't understand it. It's one of my favorites ever,
And mortgage bankers don't like to talk about it either. They
Except
don't like
me.
to talk about it because
I
they
talk
don't
about it
make a
all the
lot of money on it.
This is true.
So, but the bottom line is we're here to service our client.
Correct.
And whatever way we can service our borrower,
yeah.
Whatever
We're-
makes
we're-
it best for
Yeah,
them.
whatever-
What you're gonna do with
it's-
that first-time buyer that you're talking about, though, you're incubating them for the next one. You help them with this loan. You're not going to get paid the highest, but they're going to 3, 4, 5 years. They're going to be back to you because you took care of them the first
well,
time.
and people discount the fact that when you help somebody, they're going to tell people that you
Yes.
helped them. So, but that's tough to go ahead and teach people.
Right.
All right. And it's not always about, listen, money doesn't lead, money follows. And if you're helping people and you're successful, you don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Just take care of the client.
There you
Correct.
go. Always take care of people. Mortgage rates, as we always have to mention, of course, still at historical lows, very affordable. Yes, there's always these geopolitical events, including some talk about the turkey dollar, that made the bond market rally a little bit the last few days. The economic situation in Turkey could lead to other countries. We saw it in Greece last year. Those are the type of geopolitical events that actually could cause some the rates to maybe do a little bit better. It's funny, Rob Chrisman put an article out there. Harry, his mortgage blog is fantastic. Talking about a nuclear war, of course, would
There you
would
go,
do
Harv.
some things. But
Yeah, way to bum
that's
everybody out on a
probably
Saturday
not
morning.
Probably not going to be happening. Hey, anyways, lock in your rate and, of course, call Capital Mortgage. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We're up against the break, but when we come back, all of your calls, 248-539-9797.
The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show. 248-539-9797. Right here on the ticket. You've got to tune to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 18th plus season, giving you lots of great information. If you're looking to buy a house, call Capital Mortgage Funding or give us a call here on the show. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank, or you get a real approval. Really educate yourself on that home purchase. It makes it really fun, and I think like purchasing a house should be a lot of fun, especially when you're spending 6 digits or more to what's going on typically out there. Harry, there's a lot going out there in the world of marketing. Of course, we do this radio show. Everyone wants to be a radio star lately. We see the Facebook Live. We're on it. We're seeing when we open up our Facebook, we're seeing a lot of selfies and some really cool stuff out there. I like when I see the real estate agents are at the house and they're walking around. Some of it's really cool. On the other hand, though, I know everyone wants to be a superstar and show off their family and all those great things. But at the end of the day, Tony, I want to hire the person who's most qualified to educate me about that home purchase. And as much as I appreciate it, and I get a little bit of noticeability out there in the world in regards to someone might see me or listen to the show. At the end of the day, I hope you come with me because I'm sharing some great information with you. And I think that's the key in mortgages or real estate is educating the borrower and the buyer so that they're doing the right things.
It most definitely is. Technology is fantastic, and it's changed the way we've done business, but it's still not a substitute for good customer service.
Yeah, but you're talking about this, Harvey. You're talking about marketing, and we like all the fun marketing and the good ideas that come about. But you understand that people are getting mass mailers and emails all day, every day that are not legitimate.
Right.
All right, so there's letters that you're going to get to your house. It looks like it's legitimate. It might even reference your current lender. It might even say Capital Mortgage Funding on it. You need to call us or your lender because if it doesn't come from us or your lender and just references it, they're trying to get you to do something and spend your money and write them a check that is not legitimate. So you need to call that relationship that you have with your lender. That should be your first call. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of letters coming to people's homes. I get them all day, every day. They scan them. They send them to us.
Right.
And they're not associated with your current lender.
Anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Yeah.
All righty, welcome back to the show. Lots of conversation on the air, off the air. We're talking mortgages and real estate. Come and join us, 248-539-9797. If you've got a question, if you're buying a house, selling a house, we've got, of course, Doug Andrews in from Keller Williams Lakeside out on the east side. And, of course, you got some other great things going on. As you mentioned, you got another office you guys are diving into. What's going on with that?
Dave Claft is our operating partner, and he's a big visionary. He's expanded into Romeo a few years ago, and that's been very successful. And we now are opening up a new branch, and we have some superstars that are going to be rocking it out there. I've got Vince Parenti, and I've got the Deanna team. I've got Charles Tamu. They're going to be heading it up.
Oh, we know Charles has been on the show.
Charles?
Charles has been on before, yeah.
And Charles is going to be heading it up out there, those three teams. So that's going to be at 25 in Van Dyke, right where Vince and Joe's is. We're about 30 days out from opening that up. And it's going to be a beautiful office. And if you're interested in selling or buying or working for a great real estate company, stop and see us there.
All right, fantastic. Always expanding out there. Keller Williams on the lakeside is always a humongous office. When we know get transactions, we know things are going to get done the right way, and we've done a ton of business with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. What do I want to get into here?
We want to get into the trucker who's on the ticket test, which we never answer.
Yeah, actually, we don't do the ticket text here, but
we don't, but we will.
Well, it's a question truly about self-employment is at the end of the day. And again, if you have a history, this gentleman's calling or texting in about the fact that he has miles in his write-offs and such.
Yeah, he's an over-the-road truck driver. We do a lot of truck drivers, and the bottom line is that if we can document it with anything, with any type of income, no matter how you're paid, and if you're self-employed, we'll take a look at your tax returns. We need to see the documentation. We need to see the income stream on how you're paid. And, of course, your credit has to be good. So as long as we can track it, we can take care of it.
Yeah, Harry, sometimes it only requires 1 year tax returns, but typically with a self-employed borrower, we're looking at the 2 years of your most recent tax returns. If it shows that your income's been going up, steadily going up and not receding, of course, that gives you a better opportunity to qualify. So, again, if you're out there in a situation and you want to find out from the experts, just call Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. A couple other things, business that I want to get into, of course, is always the refinance transactions. As we mentioned earlier, just billions of dollars of equity across the United States. So many families have to unleash that equity, but there's 3 or 4 different things you can do. You can also get rid of the mortgage insurance when you're doing this cash out refinance. Lisa, as you know, the general transactions, most of them, although Freddie does allow 85% cash out, 80% cash out of your home. For easy numbers to understand, if your house is worth $200, you can get a new mortgage for $160. And of course, you have 20% equity, no mortgage insurance. And if you only owe $120 on the house, minus your cost involved and maybe your escrow, you can walk away or consolidate some debt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been so great for families, not only to do the debt situation, but we talk about the aging homes we have out there, Doug. It's one of the
home
things.
Improvement.
Yeah, the home improvements have been just flying off the shelf. That's truly where we see the equity out there. Is I wrote down some stats about it, actually. The average home, it was like 18% of the homes out there are built before 1968. So just about 20% of the homes out there the majority of the homes are built before 1968.
And they're extremely well built. And this is what people like to get into because they're hooked on HGTV. They're hooked on DIY. They're looking at all the different things that are out there. They're saying, hey, if they can do that, I can do that.
Right.
Pinterest, all of these things are egging people on. I mean, look at the lineup. If you go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's right now, the parking lot is full.
That's right.
Yeah, it really look good.
That's
hey,
right.
We're going to go off to a call here. We've got Keith calling in from Rochester Hills. Keith, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning to you fellas. How are you?
Good morning. What's happening?
Hey, I got a question, I guess, a happy beef. My wife and I approved for a mortgage. We're already approved, and we've been house shopping.
Yes.
And the different areas are just astounding to me as far as what they're asking for. I guess my question is our real estate agent will take us to these homes that we have picked out, love the homes. The last one we went to was just absolutely stunning. And just by looking at the outside, that was it. You know, we were buying a home.
Right.
We get in the home, and the pictures that we saw online were so much bigger than obviously the ones that you were noticing when you walked into the home.
It's kind of
Totally.
like online dating, isn't it? Kind of like online dating.
Well, I don't know about that. I married the one I'm dating, so
Oh.
Beautiful. Well, it worked out for you.
Congratulations.
Good for you, my man.
But the issue that we're having is, I mean, I used to be a branch manager years ago in mortgaging. I know the subprime killed it. I'm not doing that anymore, but I'm still in home improvement. And the thing is basements are leaking. You know, the smell of urine is pathetic in some of these homes. But the one home in particularly, it was going for $235,000, and we thought, okay, you know what, we like this home. The real estate agent pulled the comps up within a mile area, and there were 11 homes that were selling for anywhere from $175,000 to $200,000. And I'm looking at my realtor, I'm going, and it was a FSBO for sale by owner, and I said, you know, that could be a lot of the problem. And I said, how in God's name, one, is this house going to appraise for this? Is there an issue with appraisals now? Why is it? I mean, I guess I'm trying to understand what is the difference between a seller's market and a buyer's market. Is it inventory? I don't know, because some of these homes that we're looking at are just so out of price, and people are paying for $5,000 over more than what they're asking.
Well, Keith, I'll jump in with this, and of course, I want to hear from Doug on it. But Keith, no doubt, for sale by owner sign. Maybe they're just fishing. They're throwing a line out there. They put the sign out there, but they're willing to. Agents. A lot of these for sale by owners are willing to pay a commission, Doug. So there's nothing wrong with an agent maybe calling that number and saying, "Look, we could put a contract. I can handle your paperwork."
Most of them are being sold by a broker. People just don't realize it.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they are. Well, Keith, let me ask you something. Is it a house that you would have been willing to put an offer on?
You know what? If the basement wasn't leaking and if there wasn't so much smell of urine in there, we probably would have. Yeah.
I can't really help you with the urine part of it, but the basement leaking part, I can tell you about. In Michigan, you've got two kinds of basements: those that are presently leaking and those that eventually will. So when we buy a house with a basement, you have to do a lot of preventive maintenance so that it doesn't leak. But back to your other question about the valuations, what happens today is a lot of people, seller motivation can be based on a lot of things. Maybe they've got an eye on a house that they're going, wow, we really want that $400,000 house, but we need X amount of equity out of the current house. So with that in mind, they're saying, well, we have to price it at $235,000 if we're going to make the move to the $400,000 house, with no touch of reality as to what their home is really worth.
Right.
Chances are they went online to the Z and they got a Zestimate and they went, wow, our house is probably worth a lot more than we thought it was, when it's really not. They didn't have a true market analysis or an appraisal done of the property.
Yeah, and then we get into an appraisal problem.
Yeah, but also, Keith and Doug, you have to understand it's the rule of supply and demand. Okay,
exactly.
Low supply, high demand, high purchase price. Throw it on there.
Right.
See what we can get. So you're going to run into that.
Do you guys ever see it coming back to a buyer's market?
Well, I think everything's cyclical, and if you've been in this business as long as we have, you see the ups and downs, and it has to come back. What goes up must come down, right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to see it. Now, the next magic question is when? All right, well, you're not going to get a steal right now. There's no such thing as a steal on the market. If something looks too good to be true, chances are it is. And like you said, you go on the internet, you see the pictures, they look really cool, groovy, and hip. And then when you show up to the house, it's not so cool. So
we have found, and I really appreciate your info, we have found, which is insane, we'll find in Royal Oak or Birmingham, a 1,300 square foot home, and they're wanting $350,000, $400,000.
Oh yeah, and they're getting it.
Well, that's
location.
It is. I go to St. Clair Shores, and I get more square footage, and they're wanting $200,000.
There you go.
Exactly.
And you're by the water.
Hey, Keith, we got to let you go, but it's a great. Thank you for joining the show. We appreciate all the input. All right, good stuff there. 248-539-9797. We always appreciate all the calls out there. Of course, we got some other information to share with you here. As I mentioned, some of the aging homes out there have led to some new construction programs, some home renovation loans that we offer. We have all this equity in your house. It's actually half of the homes occupied now are built before 1980. So yeah, a lot of these homes are going to need some care. Doug, you mentioned water issues, basements. We have basements here in Michigan. You're either going to have an issue in the future or you've already had it fixed or whatever. It's something that's inevitable that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
But these things can be fixed
easily.
And again, everything almost can be fixed in a house. We have mold remediation companies that can come out.
The only thing I can't fix is location.
Yeah, it can. You know what?
Okay.
It can be,
everything else is fixable.
Right. It can be something as easy to fix as just grading away from the property. Okay, just build it up toward the property, then grade away from the property.
Correct.
If somebody tells you they haven't had water or moisture in their basement, they're just flat out not telling the truth.
Correct.
I mean, because that's where we live. Look at the rainfall we had in the last 3-4 years. Remember the situation that they had? We had in southeastern Michigan 4 years ago. It's going to happen. Yeah. So that's not a reason not to buy a house, but you just have to find out if it's more severe than a grading situation. There's cracks in the foundation.
And that's what home inspections are for.
That's exactly what home inspections are for. And, one of the things, there's different things about remodeling and flippers. And what you really have to be careful with some of the flippers is they're doing carpet paint, and they're putting what I call perfume and earrings and lipstick
on a pig.
And it's still a pig. So you really have to have a home that's being renovated, have it really carefully inspected, make sure that there's no hidden defects.
We'll talk. We'll talk a little bit about inspections and the home process right when we come back.
Never waive an inspection. Don't waive the inspection.
9797. We'll come back with all your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, We want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back to the show. What a gorgeous day out there. Summer here in Michigan. Get out on the golf course, hit the links. Definitely do a little boating today. I think I'm going to be at Sylvan or Cass. I got a choice today, and a little salute to all the boaters out there. Be safe. Put those life jackets on the kids and take it easy on the booze. That's for sure.
What do you mean take it easy? Just don't do it.
Well,
What do you mean take it easy? What do you throw booze on a boat with kids on the back? You know, that's a recipe. That's a recipe for success, right?
248-539-9797. We brought in Tony Holquin from Gap Realty down in Southgate. Tony, been around the Downriver area forever. We're taking all your calls again, 248-539-9797. And in fact, if my keyboard gear guy sees me, let's go to the call on caller number right out there, Tom from Sterling Heights. Good morning, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on, guys. Love the show.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
What do you got going on, Tom? You said you got a refi on maybe a veteran VA loan.
Right. Well, I actually do need to refinance, and I just happened to, like, recently, this past week or two, I've been getting a lot of calls from, I don't know, being cold called and being asked if I want to refinance because the VA loan or VA guidelines have changed, and I didn't really look into it, and I didn't know if that was even true.
Yeah,
if anything has changed with the VA loan.
See, what's going on is that they pulled your documents from the county, the recorded document. They saw that you have a VA loan.
Right.
So the big thing right now is they're cold calling all of the VA loans right now to try to put you on an interest rate reduction loan. It's a VA IRRRL, it's called. And I think, I'm glad that you're doing your homework. I'm glad that you're collecting all your information. And we certainly can be part of that and put us on your matrix and let us give you the best offer we can do, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
wontheticket.com.
You've got a question? We've got an opinion.
97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back to the show. 9:44 if you're just joining us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you're going to find us all week long, all weekend long with a full staff. Get that real approval letter. Yeah, we're already talking about that. But what does that mean? 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. It means you have the funds to close. We verified it. Your credit's fantastic. We know you've been on the job. We've got your 6 or 7 documents in our hand. We ran them through the system, and we know you're ready to close.
I think it's great. I think it's great that during the break, Doug says, "Hey, do you guys tell people that they should get pre-approved first?
Sure do.
Get approved.
Only every hour of
yeah.
every single day that we're walking the earth. It's amazing that somebody of your experience says these people need to get pre-approved. They need, why? Because you don't want you and your agents to waste time with people that aren't pre-approved. I mean, it's just that simple.
9 out of 10 of the releases that I have to sign as a broker releasing people from a deal is usually because of a financial issue that they should have known about that they didn't know about because they weren't properly approved before going out and buying.
Hey,
the
gas
house.
prices are back up over $3 a gallon. You better make sure these people, before you get them in the car, are ready to go. Why not? And there's nothing wrong with, here, reach out to Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get them approved. There's no obligation. You don't have to deal with us, but at least have a reliable source that you can call. Lisa, I mean, I can call you anytime and get you on the phone, and you can tell us whether or not someone's going to get approved here on the
There's so many of these companies, though, they're advertising. Call 1-800, whatever the number is. Do we screw them and how? A mortgage company. We'll have you approved while you're on the phone.
It doesn't work
just
that
not
way.
True.
Or you don't even need to
That's
talk
not
to
true.
somebody. Put some information in a computer and print your own approval.
Right.
They don't understand what is a qualifying income versus not qualifying income. You're self-employed and you're putting your information in. You might not realize you wrote off $30,000 of income last year. So the 40 you think you made 10.
Yeah, you better have.
This is why there needs to be a human element and a true pre-approval.
I'll let you repeat that a whole bunch of times. That'll be our drop. Let's move off to a call. We got Dan calling in, looking to refinance a home. Good morning, Dan. Welcome to our show.
How you doing? I was looking to get actually the PMI removed off of my mortgage, and I found that there was some discrepancies between the HPA Act law and what the mortgage company was telling me. So
Now you saw where it says that it's automatic. You have PMI or do you have MIP? What do you have, first of all?
PMI.
So you have a conventional loan. And what's your equity position in the house right now?
I've got about 40,000.
Is it a 20% equity position or not quite yet?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 20%.
From the time of purchase price or because it's increased in value?
From the time of purchase price.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you should. The PMI should fall off then. Let's get there.
Yeah, I'm about $7,000 off of that. I guess.
Okay.
I got confused on the question.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm about $7,000. So I would need to reassess the value of the house to gain that approximately $7,000 to go to 20. But here's the rub. They're saying that I need between 2 and 5 years after I've remortgaged with them that they need 75%.
No. 100% Ron. Untrue. 100%
Not
untrue.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
So they sent me a document with this on it. So is this kind of illegal?
No, not necessarily. That could be. It's not illegal. Okay, it's just that they don't want to do it.
It's bad information.
Okay?
It's bad information, right?
It's misinformation. I don't know who you're dealing with, but I don't know any lender in town. I'm not pushing any other lenders, but I don't know any lender in town. If you're at a 75% loan to value, 25% equity position, that wouldn't refinance you.
Right.
If you're at 80.
I've had the conversation a couple times, and I was confused, and they gave me a document stating their stipulations, and I was like,
yeah. Can you do me a favor? I'd like to see the document. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I'm always trying to learn new things, and I've never seen a document. I've seen crazy documents, but I've never seen one like that, and I can't believe a lender would put that in writing. There has to be something more to it. So if you could send it to us, I'd love to take it, and we can call you. I'll give you our my email address. And you could send it over, and we'll take a look at it for you. But if you're in a good situation where you could refinance, we'd like to take a look at doing
Hey, Dan,
it.
I got one question. What's your current interest rate and how many years you have left?
That's 2 questions.
4.12, and I'm just like 4 years into a 30.
Okay, so, you do have a really nice interest rate. I'll tell you, definitely a good conversation you and I are going to have after this show. So we'll see what we can do to move you forward and save you money, and congratulations.
And if you want to send me the document, we'll give you my email address off the air.
I'll send it.
Well, you can do it right now. It's hglands@lowrateonline.com. But I'd like to take a look at it. No problem.
Thanks a lot for the call, Dan.
You got it.
All right, we appreciate the call. Again, 248-539-9797 if you'd like to join the show. I don't want to leave this out. We have absolutely, I was pricing a few of them out, absolutely some of the best jumbo loan programs out there. Mm-hmm. If you're buying a house and you're going to be borrowing over $453,100, you might have heard this conversation, jumbo loan. What does that mean? What it means is there's still a mortgage for you. You can get unbelievable interest rates. Yeah. Most of our programs don't have PMI under 20% down on the jumbo program. So it's just an unbelievable opportunity. Deal with local lenders. Again, you just heard a client call. He hears us all the time. I don't know where he went, but there are bad players out there. Mm-hmm. We know it. We're talking to the title companies. They're telling us about some of the closings they're showing up to. Remote closers, closed transactions in Michigan, the loan might have been originated from an out-of-state lender. Folks, you're really hitting yourself in the head with that. Deal with local lenders. You're going to get a lot better.
Absolutely.
Really everything. Well, I'm glad I brought it up, Doug, if you want to talk about that. They just know the area a lot better.
Not only that, you're going to find, again, a lot of the the rates that are trying to promise you something that really doesn't exist. Because if they're saying, hey, we're going to do this for you and reduce this cost, you're going to save money, they're packing it in somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's not free.
Right.
Anything that's great is not going to be free.
Sounds too good to be true. It is.
It is.
Usually it is.
But also, Doug, it's the relationships that
for sure.
I know that we're a large metropolitan Detroit area, but people are involved in the real estate and mortgage business that have been around a long time, have either heard of each other or have had transactions with each other, and therefore the communication and the ease of doing business, it's so much smoother.
Oh, Harry,
So-
you're right on with it, and that's where 35 years I've been doing this, and 90% of my business that I personally do is return and referral. Okay, and every transaction I'm involved in, I view it as 3 to 5 transactions because they're going to be back to me. They're going to send their friends, their family. That's what it's all about. If you do a great job for people and you're honest and you're authentic and you really take care of them first and yourself second,
That's right.
Be serving to people, and they recognize that.
No, it's 100% great point out there. Hey, guys, let me throw this listing out there just because it's a unique one. And Sam Mansour at our office is working with one of his agents, and he's got one. Call Capital Mortgage. If you're looking for a condominium, 249 in West Bloomfield, this is a really nice place. I mean, this is over 1,800 square feet, Maple and Orchard area. I'm not going to give all the specifics, but if you're looking for condominium living, again, this is a
What
great
condo complex is it, Harv?
It's Aspen Ridge, Harry.
There you
it's
go.
Aspen Ridge. It's a great location, great schools, and it's priced like a $249. And Sam brought this listing over to me yesterday. He says, Harvey, I got a winner here. This is over 1,800 square foot, a contemporary townhouse, 2-car garage. And again, we just talk about where the prices have gone. It's really hard. Well, you got to be educated to find where the values are, Doug. And again, whether it be a condominium or a home, you have to understand what you're looking at. Understand how association fees come into play when you're purchasing a house. It does take away from some of your buying power, but again, it's a lifestyle living.
Association fees, but it's also their balance, their budget. What do they owe on? What assessments might be coming up?
Are there any
reserve
lawsuits?
Fund, is there going to be money? Is there lawsuits? Is there money to replace that roof that's 18 years old right now?
Are they properly making reserves so they have the funds?
You've got to have an agent that's doing their due diligence with you to know exactly what's going on. Condominiums are a wonderful thing. They're a bad thing when they're mismanaged. And that's where it can really cost you money if you don't know. And you get into it, and a year later, you're getting an assessment for $5,000 that's going to be spread over 5 years, and you're going, what?
Right.
All right, of course. So as we talked about earlier in the show, technology has been an unbelievable tool. It doesn't answer all your questions, though. So we do want to sort of tie that into where we're headed in the future with real estate. It is a little scary sometimes to think that some of the people out there are making this very expensive purchase, one of the most expensive things you're going to purchase. Your family's going to live there. It's a roof over your head. You got to talk to some people. There's some knowledge out there that'll give you the confidence. Those are the words that I've used over the last 3 or 4 years, this knowledge and education base. I don't know. I see that some of the companies out there want to dummy you down. Don't let them dummy you down. In fact, take the other approach. If it's not easy, if it's too easy, it's not good for you. And I'm saying it to the fact that I want families to really understand when they get to the closing table that they became so educated on it that they're almost as knowledgeable as even an agent for that matter. I always tell someone, you want to learn about real estate, go buy a house.
I refer to myself as a consultant. You and I talked about that. It's not that I'm a salesperson as much as I'm helping guide people to make an informed decision. Again, what it goes back to is you got to have trust and confidence.
Fastest hour in show business, guys.
That's it.
Trust and confidence. Doug Andrews, I really appreciate you coming in. I'm going to come out. You said I get to shadow
Great
you
show,
at your
Doug.
office.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. But again, keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We want to thank Doug Andrews from coming. Of course, Keller
Thank
Williams
you.
Lakeside. Humongous office.
Yep.
They do a ton of business. Definitely Lisa Lawson,
Thank
Harry
you.
Glanz. You guys are always great. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports and social commentary. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.